do. They go through a lot of stuff because of us kids if we be mean to them or like even swearing at them.
They're treated really bad. No one really respects them.
Yeah, I see kids, how I say that's swearing, messing around.
Very bogus teachers, calling them bad teachers, and cussing out.
They go through students always messing around, doing bad stuff, not letting them teach.
Hi, my name is Dave Stolpe, and I am a 26th year teacher. This is my 5th year at James Dockey. I'm a social studies teacher, but I've also spent time teaching adjudicated youth for about 11 years, and I've been a school administrator as well, like an assistant principal as well, for about 9 years.
What is it like to have a chaotic class?
Yeah, there's times when chaos can be a good thing. Like there's times when students are engaged in learning and they're excited about learning and they're kind of like, like they're exploring and trying things and taking risks and stuff. And at those points in time, chaos can be like, it can feel a little bit uncomfortable at times, but it can also be one of those opportunities where if you kind of let some of the chaos happen, sometimes some really exciting things happen. Some of the chaos can bring about like energy and get kids engaged that weren't. But it can go too far too, where the chaos becomes more of a distraction. There's some kids who have anxiety about chaotic environments and they don't feel as safe, and so you want to make sure that all your students feel emotionally safe in your classrooms.
Have you ever felt overwhelmed before the class even started?
Do I ever feel overwhelmed before I even walk into class? Absolutely. There's a lot of details to hash out in teaching, and some days you feel like you got a good plan and you're ready to hit the road running, and some days you feel like you're a little bit like you're figuring it out, even you're trying to figure it out even as the class starts. There's sometimes you go in with a good plan, or you think what you think is a good plan, and you start launching the idea to kids, and you realize that this isn't working as well as I had hoped it was going to work, and so you've got to like adjust. Do I go into class feeling overwhelmed? All the time.
What's a couple of things, one or two things that you definitely don't like about teaching certain classes?
One of the things that I find hard about teaching is, first of all, I really love learning myself, and I always have. I've not always been a great student. Like as a kid, I wasn't always a great student, but I always cared about learning. And one of the things that I do get annoyed with is when kids are pretty apathetic about learning. Like I get if you don't want to do my assignment, I get if you don't want it, but like care enough about yourself to want to add to your own skills and your own arsenal. When kids seem more interested in things that really aren't going to impact their life, like sitting on a screen and playing a game or stuff like that, that really kind of gets on my nerves. Because it's like, it's not just that you're ignoring me, it's that you're ignoring yourself. You're ignoring your own needs as a kid.
What is your favorite part about teaching?
I love interacting with kids and relating to kids. I feel like probably one of my strong suits as a teacher is building relationships with kids. I'm pretty open and honest about my own struggles in life, and I think kids appreciate that know that like we as adults also struggle with things. It helps them feel more safe being open about where they're at and where they're struggling. And ultimately, I just want to help kids grow and feel comfortable in the world. By being vulnerable with myself, I feel like kids feel like they're more confident to be vulnerable with themselves as well. And I think that they feel like that's an okay thing to be. But yeah, the relationship part is probably my favorite part. That and creating thing. I love creating with kids and helping kids start creating and get excited about things that they're creating.
Do you think there should be a Teacher Awareness Month?
I'm happy they do that. I would still do it even if there wasn't that week. I feel appreciated by my students every day.
What is the hardest part about teaching?
Personally, like I struggle with some of the planning in the organization. That's just been my kind of like, that's been an ongoing struggle with me. Emotionally, it can be pretty draining. Our kids are going through a lot, and we want to find ways to support them, make them feel loved, cared for, confident, supported. And that's not always easy, especially when a kid's in crisis and when a kid's family is in crisis. That's hard, but it's also one of the most satisfying parts. Probably the hardest part, but it's also one of the most satisfying is when you do have that kid who's like, there's a wall up in front of, and like you finally find a way to break through. You see that kid who flounders and flounders and flounders while you have them, and then like you get to see them later as an adult, and they're like doing great. There's like that's why we do it, like to see those kids succeed.
I'm Clayton Irwin. I am the head secretary at Dacia High School. If there isn't a month for it, there should definitely be at least a week, because teachers see the students 8 hours a day, whereas a lot of times parents don't see their kids that long. And so we deal with a lot of the behaviors that parents don't necessarily see at home, but we get to be more of like the friend and guidance that a lot of parents can't do just because of their own personal lives. And we deal with that in addition to our own personal. The hardest part is that I cover a lot. I do all of the ordering and making sure that gets put through on time. I help plan events. I help with attendance. I help, with student counseling and everything, and making sure students feel like they're heard. So trying to juggle all of that can sometimes be hard. It does get chaotic in the morning. Luckily, it's only for a short period of time, because my coworker comes in around like 9:30. So my job mostly in the morning, when I get here and when students, or when I get here and when she comes in, is mostly just making sure attendance is taken, where I keep track of what time the kids come in, and kind of just making sure that's all up to date until she can get here and take over. And then it's just dealing with the students' behaviors in the morning, because sometimes they're a little needy in the morning, but you make it work and you do the best that you can. Yes, a lot of times, just because we don't know how kids are going to react for the day. It is a different day every single day, because some kids can maybe fine one day and not the next. So sometimes it can be, especially when you have multiple projects going on at once and there's deadlines and everything. But luckily, I have people that I can delegate things to make it a lot easier for me. My favorite thing is getting to get to know all the students kind of more on a personal level, and kind of get to know what they like and don't like, and an easy way to connect with them. The one thing I don't like is more of like, I can get that personal relationship, but I can't get a deeper relationship just because I'm always here. I can't help out as much just because I can't step away from the office. But luckily for me, it's only for a short period of time before my coworker comes in. It's just, a lot of times I have to put the students first before I start on my actual work. So my job, making sure that I keep attendance going as students are coming in. So sometimes it can get a little chaotic if I have multiple things going on at once.
3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you. Like 4, 3, 2, you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. I'll sing a song beside you. And if you ever forget how much you really mean to me, every day I will remind you.